Howdy, this is Fredrick from the Cosmetology Exchange. Today we're going to do a short lecture on the philosophy of hairstyling. If cosmetology is the science, hairstyling is the art. This art has several structures. One which is cutting, the other which is color. Another tool is your finish out or your style, your blow dryer, showing your stylist or your customer how to best work with their hair in their situations that they run into every day. Now, some of the things that have been missing out of these sections in cosmetology, one of them is the structure-based teaching, as far as giving the stylist or the student a structure to work with and explaining to them how that structure can build into their finished product. It's basically dissecting and making the process a lot more accessible for not just you, but for the stylist next to you. Remember, the customer is what is most important in this whole concept of what we're doing. Now, let's break down the structures of those two things. Your cut. Now, your cut is basically the basis of all your hairstyling. It's going to give you the structure that you need. Like I said, there are three structures to hairstyling, and one of them, or your first one, is your cut. Your cut is going to determine your width and your length. That should be determined by the structure of the face. Instead of breaking faces into shapes as far as round and oval, I do something different. I actually break them into width and length. Width meaning the length of the width of the face. Length meaning from the chin to the forehead. The whole object of styling in America is to make your customer have an oval-shaped face. Well, remember, in other countries and in other cultures, that shape changes. One of the bases of using structure and breaking everything down is because it makes it easier to learn. By breaking your cut down, you can only do 4 things with scissors. You can cut blunt, you can cut layered, elevated, and graduated. That's it. There's nothing else that you can actually do with your shears. By knowing that, it makes the process a lot simpler. It makes it break down into, instead of breaking it down into degrees, this structure basically breaks it down into what you want to accent and what you don't want to accent. The next one is color. Same thing. Only 4 things you can do with color. You can lighten the hair, you can darken the hair, you can change the tone, or you can cover gray. All these things are done with just hair color. Now, by using hair color as part of your structure, you can decide where to put the light and the dark. By giving these contrasts, you can do the same thing with the face shape that you do with makeup with hair color. Light hair color is always going to expand your eye. Darker hair color is always going to contract your eye. It's going to bring your focus into a different area. Okay, so by knowing that there's only 4 things you can actually do, it makes the process a little bit simpler. Once again, structure, finishing, as far as your blow dry and your style. Sometimes it doesn't take but a few minutes. Give your customer more than one option. So this should take up about 15 to 20% of the actual service time. I've had customers who did not know what to do with some of the products that they had purchased or with the tools that they had, and some of the things just weren't working out that we were having her do at home. What I had her do was bring in all of her finishing products. She brought in her blow dryer, her flat iron, so we could regulate the temperature. A lot of people don't understand that these tools, now that they're out in public, are very, 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 very powerful tools. A flat iron used every day will actually burn the ends of the hair. The average flat iron is over 400 degrees. So if you have a product which is wet or retains moisture, and you add the damage of a flat iron at 410 degrees, which is your average flat iron, you're going to do a lot of damage to that hair. And once you do that damage, it cannot really be reversed. Okay, so your finish out is going to really, really make a difference. Once she brought in all her products, we got rid of the products that weren't working. We went back over and showed her how to use the products that she did have and that would do the job that she was looking for. By doing this, we empower our customer, and we also empower the fact that one of our jobs is to give that information to the customer. Once they leave our chair, our job is not over. Once they leave our chair, there's lots of upkeep that needs to be done to get it to look like it did when you did it and they left the salon. That is your calling card. They used to say that the difference between a good haircut and a bad haircut is about 7 days. I've seen some really bad haircuts that took a lot more than 7 days for that cut to be corrected. So, finishing out is the last part of your structure. Okay, you're going to create a base. You're going to create movement, and you're going to place that base and that movement exactly where it needs to be. By structuring your style also, which is the last thing you do, by structuring that first and starting with the style and working backwards from where you want to end up to what direction you take to get there. And a lot of times we can change our mind in mid-stride. Because if something isn't working, we have to be able to be versatile enough to change those things and make them a little bit easier for our customers. By listening to our customers, we actually invite them into the world that we live in, which is a world of fashion and style. Remember, you are in charge of one of the most important things, that first impression, that outer appearance that so many people make judgments on. If you have a customer who's going to a job, at an interview at a corporate office, if he's a man, you would tell him shave your beard, get a nice clean haircut. Doesn't have to be short nowadays, but it does have to be professional. Use just a small amount of product and show that customer how to look his best, how to present the best visual presentation that he can, because his look is part of that presentation. Some of the things that have been missing out of hairstyling and the structure of hairstyling is to simplify it by bringing back some of the older techniques. Skip waves. Skip waves will give you a class in direction and movement. These things were very important. Most of us did not understand how important they were when we actually started school. Of course, now, 27 years later, of course, we do understand that structure still needs to be there. And our younger stylists aren't getting those things. And the sad thing is to say a lot of it is because the structure in the school doesn't really allow for it. It doesn't allow for creativity. I used to tell a lot of my students that I can't teach you to be a hairdresser. That has to already be within you. What I can do is I can show you how to pass this test. I can show you how to protect yourself in a professional manner. I can show you how to build a clientele. But once you leave these doors and these floors, it's up to you. The image that you put out is exactly what you're going to get back in your chair. I had a lot of stylists who wanted to specialize in trends, such as quick weaving or extensions, and that's all fine and dandy. one of the bad things about it is the fact that um, when you specialize in a trend, you basically cut yourself off uh, to a very short career. Trends come and go, but all these trends are based on the fundamentals of styling